Namaskaram, greetings to everyone. Let us begin with a Shanti mantra from the Upanishads. This is on page 48 of the book Universal Prayers. Top of page 48, and the English translation is on page 49. Om apyayanta mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotram athabalam indriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahmopanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam ma brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaste mayi santu te mayi santu. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om. I pray to the Divine Lord that all aspects of my personality, including my body, mind, speech, sense organs, the vital force and strength, may they all increase and function efficiently in perfect harmony. This whole universe, which is visible through the sense organs, is nothing other than the ultimate reality described as Brahman in the Upanishads. May I not reject this truth. May there be no rejection of this truth. May I accept this truth as a starting hypothesis and proceed to realize the truth, this truth, in this lifetime. As I am engaged in that effort to realize this truth in this lifetime, may all the virtues described in the Upanishads come to me. May all the virtues such as truthfulness, strength, straightforwardness, purity, may all those virtues described in the Upanishads come to me and reside in me. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi Daivika Shanti. Let us continue our study of the 5th chapter. Chapter 5. We were studying verse number 12. Now we have to continue from verse number 13. The verse number 12 describes two possible attitudes towards work. The choice is ours, which way we do work, how we do the work we have to do. This verse number 12 describes the two possibilities. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim. Some people, yukta means a person who is practicing yoga. Such a person, karma phalam tyaktva, giving up attachment to fruits of work. I am doing this work, may good happen. Not just for myself, but for the larger good. Other people, animals and plants, for this country, for the whole world, may some good happen from this work I am doing. If everybody benefits, I will also be included in that everybody. So all benefit will come to me naturally. But I am not doing it just for myself in a selfish way. That is one attitude. If a person does all the work with that attitude, what happens? Sri Krishna says, Shanti mapnoti naishtikim. Such a person achieves permanent peace, unconditional peace. For such a person, peace does not depend upon external events and circumstances, what other people think, what other people do, what happens in the world. Those things don't bother this person. He remains immune from external disturbances and remains peaceful unconditionally, peace coming from within. That is one way to do work, giving up attachment to karma, karma phala. Second way is described in the second line of verse number 12. Ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate. Ayukta means one who is not practicing yoga, not practicing detachment. Karma karena, being desirous of the fruits of action, attached to the fruits of action. What happens to such a person? Phale saktaha. He becomes interested, attached to the fruits of work. Karma phale saktaha. Then what happens? Nibadhyate. He remains bound. Bandhana means bondage. Bondage here means the continuation of the cycle. Ignorance, desire, action, fruits of action, necessitating more action. So the cycle is like this. Avidya, not knowing our true nature. Upanishad Vedanta says our true nature is that Brahman, ultimate reality, Sachidananda. You are that even now. It doesn't have to come. It's not absent now. If it is absent now and it has to be acquired by some effort, then it won't be permanent. It's our intrinsic nature. We always been that, will always be that. Nothing changes that. Our ignorance is temporary. Now we are not aware of our true nature. It can be removed. Ignorance is not permanent. It has no beginning, but it has an end. Anadi but antya. So that can be removed. So our ignorance of the truth does not alter the truth. If I am not aware of something, does not mean it is not there. Our ignorance does not change the truth. It is there. So that ignorance of our true nature, which is complete, perfect, blissful Sachidananda, that creates limitations. I don't have this. If I get this, I will be happy. Desire means that. Desire means a state of emptiness in our mind. I don't have a certain thing. My life is empty. If I get that thing which is missing, I'll be happier. That is the state of desire. It may be money, it may be property, it may be a position, it may be a child, it may be something that I think I don't have. If that is made available, I'll be happy. That is the state of mind now for majority of people. For such people, what happens? The desire propels them, impels them to action. If some desire is there, we can't keep quiet. We do something to fulfill the desire. Action becomes inevitable. That action is done with the object of fulfilling the desire. If I do this will be available to me, then I'll be happy. So there is desire and action motivated by desire for fruit of action. Otherwise, such a person without desire will not do any action. Desire is there. That's why action becomes necessary. Selfish action. Selfless action is also there. Without desire, people work for the good of others. They are not interested in their own fruit of desire. That is different. That's in the first line. So such people who act with desire for a fruit of action, phale saktaha, become attached to the fruits of action. Then what happens? Bondage, perpetuation of the cycle. Nibadhyate, becomes bound in the cycle of karma, karma phala, avidya karma, karma phala. So that should not be allowed to happen. So that is those are the two possible attitudes towards work that Sri Krishna describes in sloka number 12. Now, sloka number 13 describes the first attitude, people with the first attitude, those who work without attachment to karma, karma phala. What happens to them? So let us do sloka number 13. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pore dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pore dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Manasa sarva karmani sanyasya. Sanyasa means giving up attachment to everything, including the body, mind, sense organs, sense objects, everything. Only Brahman, I am that. Sarva karmani, all actions, manasa sanyasya, mentally giving up. Physically we cannot give up action, that we saw before in the 3rd chapter. No being can remain without performing action even for a short period of time. That we know from experience. Every moment we are acting mentally, if not physically, or both. Manasa sanyasya, mentally you should give up attachment to action. Action will happen, we cannot stop, but mentally it becoming detached. That we have seen before, how to do mental detachment. Several ways. The highest person of highest realization, Jnani, he says while performing all actions, he says, I am not doing anything. He has no sense of agency. Kartritva is not there. He is doing action. Action is happening, but he has no feeling that he is doing the action. That we saw in verses 8 and 9 in this chapter. There Sri Krishna describes how a Jnani becomes free from karma, karma phala. He says, Naiva kinchit karomi. I am not doing anything at all. Iti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Tattvavit means a person knows the truth. Truth is about one's nature. Such a person who is a Jnani, Atma Jnani, such a person says, I am not doing anything. Naiva kinchit karomi. But he is doing all kinds of actions at the same time. Well, even he is saying he is not doing anything. This sloka numbers 8 and 9 in the same chapter 5. Pashyan srunvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapan shvasan pralapan visrujan grindhan unmishan nimishan napi. All these are actions that everybody does. Animals also do. People also do. Pashyan srunvan. Pashyan means seeing. We all see things. Some people see good things, some people see bad things, but we all see. Srunvan, we all hear sounds. Sometimes we hear good sounds, sometimes we hear not so good sounds. Pashyan srunvan sprishan, touching. We are always touching something. Even if I am lying down, I am touching the bed. Without touching, I cannot stay in the air. So touching, sprishan. Jigran, smelling. Like this. So many actions people are doing. So Jnani does same thing. Same kind of actions as Ajnani. Ajnani is ignorant person, ignorant of one's nature. But Ajnani says, I am doing the work. Aham karta. That is why in the 3rd chapter, Shloka 27. Ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. Ahankara vimudhatma means a foolish egotistic person, vimudhatma. What does such a person think? Aham karta iti manyate. I am doing. They always claim that I am doing. I have done this, I have done this, I am doing this, I have done all these things. I am the head of this department, I am all this power, I will do this. Nobody has done as much as I have done. Like this, they keep on claiming, I all the time. Such people that don't know the truth. They think they are the body and the mind. Total ignorance. But a jnani, on the other hand, he says, I am not doing anything. Naiva kinchit karomi. Now, if you ask the jnani, you are doing all these things, and how can you say you are not doing anything? You are also eating, walking, sleeping, talking like other people. But how can you say you are not doing anything? Then he will explain. They will explain in the last line of Shloka number 9. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. How actions happen? Indriyani means sense organs, one or more sense organs, eyes, ears, hands, feet. Indriyartha means sense object, anything. Between sense organs and sense objects, contact happens. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. Then action results. Action is the result. So, this is sense organ, eyes are sense organs, and this is sense object. So, what happens? Action, a person drinks. Now, where is the eye? Am I the hand? Am I the eyes that sees the sense object? Am I the cup? The sense object? I am none of these. There is no I in this transaction. What is involved? Sense organs, one or more sense organs, and sense object, one or more sense objects. They interact with each other. Then action happens. Where is the I? Ajnani puts the I where it does not belong. I am the body mind, so I am doing the action. That is a sign of ignorance. But a jnani does not think that he is the body, mind, sense organs. He is the Atman. Atman is the witness, Sakshi. He does not do anything. Nishkriya. Atman has no action. Pure consciousness, Sachidananda. So that is a big difference between the attitude of a jnani and a jnani towards work. One person says, I am the doer, and gets involved in the fruit of action, perpetuates ignorance. Other person gives up sense of agency, kartritva, say, I am not the doer, I am free from action, I am free from the result of action. Does not get involved in the cycle. Becomes liberated. So that is explained in more clearly in verse number 13. Let us do Shloka number 13. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya. Mentally detaching oneself from karma and karma phala. Sukham vashi aste. Vashi means a person whose mind and sense organs are under control. Vasha means control. Vashi is a person who has controlled his mind and sense organs. Such a person, sukham aste, remains completely calm and unperturbed. Nothing perturbs such a success, failure, what other people think. Some people will praise, some people will blame, some people say did the good this thing, some people say did the wrong thing. What other people say or think, what happens, success, failure. Nothing bothers that person. He remains absolutely free, calm, and absorbed in the Sachidananda, enjoying total unconditional bliss. Sukham vashi. Now an example is given, explanation is given how such a person remains free from karma phala. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Deha means body mind. Dehi means a jivatma who is residing in the body mind. Dehi. The graha is house. Grihi means one who resides in the house. Dehi means the Atman. Dehi Navadvare Pure. This body is compared to a city. Pura means a city. The city has 9 entrances, 9 gates. In earlier days, kings used to live in the capital. The capital was surrounded by a fort, and the fort used to have several entrances. So this city, body mind is compared to a city. Navadvare, 9 gates are there to this body mind. Naiva Kurvan, neither doing, nakarin, nor causing anybody to do. Action can be done in 2 ways. I can do the action myself, or I can make somebody else do the action. Karayati. Karoti karayati. One person does, another person makes somebody else do the action. Neither of this happens in the case of the Jnani. Now, what is the 9 gates city? How can the body be compared to a city with 9 gates? That explanation is given. The 9 gates are the 9 openings. 2 eyes and the mouth and 2 ears, and in the nostrils 2, and the 2 openings below, one for rejection and elimination. 9 things are there. These are 9 openings, the body. In the Kathopanishad, the same body is compared to a gate with 11 gates. Puram ekadasham dwaram, like this one shloka is there in the Kathopanishad. Ekadasha dwara means 11 gates are there. They include the Brahmarandra and the Naval also. It becomes 11. So anyway, the body is a residence. It's a house in which I live. It's not our true nature. I am not the house. I live in the house, but I am not the house. To think I am the house is ignorance. I am only a resident, temporary resident. The body, this house is temporary. I am here for some time, then I will change the house. I will leave this house and occupy some other house. That we know from 2nd chapter, Shloka 22. The body is compared to a garment there. When this garment becomes old, worn out and unfit to be used, this is cast aside and a new garment is put on. In the same way, this body is a temporary residence for us. It's not our permanent residence. We are not the house in which we live. It's a house. For some time only we live in this house. Then we leave this house and go to some other house. So Jnani thinks like that. But Ajnanis think I am the body, I am the house. It's as absurd to think I am the body as it is absurd to think I am the house. That is ignorance. So Navadvare Pure, in the city of 9 gates, Dehi Naiva Kurvan, neither doing, Nakari, nor causing anybody to do any action, remains free from karma phala. All these thoughts have Chetasa Sarvakarmani Sanyasya, giving up mentally attachment to all actions and fruits of actions. This comes in many places in the Gita. Beginning from 3rd chapter, Shloka number 30, we saw Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya, Sri Krishna says. Dedicating all actions to me. Whenever we do some action, we should dedicate it to God. Why? He does not need our action. It is not to fulfill his need for action. He doesn't need anything. The Lord of the universe, what does he need? But by dedicating our actions, we become free from attachment to that action. If somebody comes to your house and you feel happy that they have chosen to come to your house, they could have gone someplace else, they prefer to come to your house because they like you. Then what do? You make them sit down and welcome them and make a cup of tea for them. You offer a cup of tea. Now when you offer a cup of tea, why do you offer? Not to fulfill their need. They can have tea in their own home. They don't have to come to your home to have a cup of tea. They have come because they are happy with you. So offering cup of tea does not mean you are fulfilling their need. You are expressing your love, your happiness that they have come. You are saying, I'm happy you have come to our house, and the expression of happiness is in the form of giving a cup of tea. Giving means expressing love. So when we give something to God, when you puja we do, all the so many naivedya we do, we offer fruits and flowers and incense and lamp and all kinds of food, cooked food, everything we offer. Why does he need all these things? Does he need our almonds and raisins and coconut? No, he is the Lord of the universe. But when we offer these things, we are expressing our love. I am happy, like this. So, navadvare naiva kurvannaka, neither performing any action nor causing anybody to do any action. Dedicating everything to God. The dedicating everything to God, sarva karmani manasa sanyasya, comes in many places. Chapter 3, verse number 30, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Again this sannyasa, karma sannyasa, giving up actions to God, comes in chapter 9, sloka 27. There Sri Krishna says, whatever you do, offer it to me. He says, whatever action you do, including eating, specifically he mentions eating, offer it to me. Why? Does he need our food? No. We become free from attachment to that object when we offer something to somebody. 9:27 he says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusha madarpanam. Whatever you do, yat karoshi, tat kurusha, do that madarpanam as offering to me. So that you become free from attachment to that karma phala. Again it comes in chapter 18, verse number 57. There Sri Krishna says, Chetasa sarva karmani vai sanyasya matparaha. How to offer? Not physically. Physically God does not come and accept our work or anything. Mentally. Chetasa sarva karmani vai sanyasya. Dedicating all actions to me mentally. Mentally, all action happens in mind. All spiritual practice, 99% happens in mind. Outside nothing happens. Same body, same action, same eyes, same hands, same feet. But change in the mind, how we do action, that is where change happens. Dedicating everything to God. So verse number 13 means performing all actions without attachment to the fruit of action and dedicating all actions mentally to God, thereby becoming free from attachment to karma phala. That is the bondage. Shows the way to liberation. Namadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Now we go to sloka number 14. 14, 15, they are somewhat difficult. We'll try to explain and make it simple to understand. Verse number 14. Nakartrutvam nakarmani lokasya srijati prabhu nakarma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. Nakartrutvam nakarmani lokasya srijati prabhu nakarma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. Prabhu means, the word see Prabhu at the end of the first line. Prabhu is translated as Atma by Shankara in the commentary. Prabhu, Atma. Atma means Paramatma. The word Atma has different meanings depending upon the context. Atma can mean the body, physical body, Annamaya Kosha. Atma can mean the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Atma can mean the Jivatma, in the individual soul residing in the body mind. Atma can mean the Paramatma, supreme reality, Parabrahma, any of these. Here it means the Paramatma. Prabhu means the Paramatman. Paramatman is Brahman. Brahman is pure consciousness. No action, no attachment to anything. asango kyayam purushaha. Like this, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, this Paramatman is asanga, means no attachment to anything, no karma phala, nothing, no desire, no. This pure consciousness, infinite pure consciousness, how can it be attached to anything? Prabhuhu, Paramatman, lokasya, loka means world or people. Na kartartvam na karmani srijati. Srijati means creates. It does not create. Kartartva means agency for action. I am the doer. That notion is in the people's minds. God is not responsible for that. He does not say you are the doer. People think I am the doer. That's our problem in our minds, being attached to karma. I am the doer. That feeling is very hard to give up. No matter how hard we try, the feeling I am the doer will remain. That's our problem. God is not responsible for that. He does not create that feeling I am the doer in our minds. Na karatartvam na karmani. Karmani here means the objects created by action. In the commentary, Shankara says karmani ratha ghata prasadadini ipsitatamani lokasya sridati utpadeti prabhu atma. Ratha means chariot, ghata means pot, prasada means a big house, bungalow, etc. Adini. So these are the kinds of things that people create to fulfill their desire. God is not responsible. We create things hoping that they will bring us happiness. We create things, including progeny, building houses and buying expensive dress and car and so many things people do and create and buy for their pleasure. We cannot involve God in this action. So, Prabhu means Paramatman. Kartrutvam karmani nasrijati, does not create neither sense of agency. People think we are the doer. Ignorance. We can't blame God for that one. Na karmani srijati. He does not create any objects. People create objects hoping that they will bring happiness. Something I don't have. If I have that, I will be happy. So I will go and buy that thing or create that thing. That's what happens in our minds and bodies. The Lord is not, Brahman is not involved in any of these transactions. Na karma phala samyogam. Karma phala samyoga means a connection between work and its result. Karma phala. When you do something, some result will come. Inevitably, no action goes without reaction. Just as in the physical world, action, reaction, in the mental, moral world also, action begets reaction without fail. Good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. In the famous Song of Sannyasin, Swami Vivekananda wrote the Song of Sannyasin in the summer of 1895 when he was residing in the Thousand Island Park in a cottage. There he was doing classes morning and evening for a small group of devotees, all Americans. There were no Indians at that time. And this went on for 7 weeks in the month of July and August in 1895 in upstate New York. Small island on the St. Lawrence River, 4 miles south of Canadian border. There somebody gave a cottage for summer, so he stayed there. There he was in a very high elevated state of mind. And he went into Samadhi under a tree. The tree is still there. In an inspired state, he wrote this English poem. He composed it in English, wrote in his own handwriting. The manuscript was later discovered many decades later. So one stanza there is like this: Karma karma phala. Nobody can escape. It says, who sows must reap, they say. The cause must bring the sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. For whoso wears a form must wear the chain. Too true, but far beyond both action is Atman. Thou art that sannyasin bold. Say Om, Tat Sat Om. far beyond action, reaction. Karma, karma phala is Atman. And you are that Atman. That's the body and the mind. Good, good, bad, bad. Good action produces good result, bad action produces bad result. None escape there. No one is exempt from it. If a Jnani does action or Ajnani does action, it will bring a result. Jnanis don't do bad action, so it's not a problem. Ajnanis do all kinds of action, some good, some bad. The result will come, you have to experience it. You can't escape it. So that happens in our body, mind, sense organ level, our personality level. God is not responsible for that. Just like sun is there in the sky. Does it do anything? Sun does not do any action. To shine is the intrinsic nature. He constantly produces enormous amount of energy. Heat, light, all kinds of energy. That's his nature. That's what he keeps doing 24 hours a day, unconditionally. Nobody forces him, he doesn't stop, and there's intrinsic property. Like fire burns all the time. Whether you set up a fire in America or India or in winter or summer, fire means burning. So there's intrinsic property, dharma. It's dharma of sun to produce energy, light, heat, etc. He himself does not do any action. But the presence of sun in the sky makes it possible for people, animals, plants to perform function on the earth. If sun was not there, no action is possible. We can't even exist. Because he is there, all actions are happening. Sunlight is same for on everybody. Sun produces same amount of light. Does not make any distinction. These are good people, I will give more light. These are bad people, I will withdraw light from them. Such a thing is not there. He is Samadarshi. He produces light unconditionally. How we use the light, sunlight is left to us. Some people use sunlight to do bad deeds. Some people do good deeds in sunlight. Good and bad happens when not in the sun. He is not responsible for good and bad. Those who do good deeds using sunlight, they reap good actions, good benefits. Those who do bad deeds using sunlight, they reap misery, bad actions. But can we say sun is responsible for the good and bad that people suffer and enjoy? No, he is not responsible. He is there. Simply he is there. He is not even asking us to do. He is there. That's all. His very presence makes it possible for people to do good and bad things. But he is not responsible for good and bad things. It's we who do good and bad things. In the same way, Brahman is present everywhere. Prabhu means Brahman. He is present everywhere. Within us, outside of us, he is all pervasive, sarvavyapi. Because of his presence, the whole world moves, all actions happen. People live, animals live, plants live, rain happens, water flows, fire burns, sun shines, because of God's power. Only because of God's power, all these things happen in nature. Nature functions because of God's power. That's explained in many Upanishads, 3 Upanishads at least. There's a very famous verse which is chanted by many people at home in their during their puja, also in the temple, all Hindu temples where they do puja. They chant this famous verse from the Upanishad. Comes in Kathopanishad, comes in Mundaka Upanishad, comes in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Priests chant it. People who watch the Mangalarati, they don't know what the priest is chanting because it is all in Sanskrit. The mantra is like this. When the priest does the Nirajanam, Mangalarati, waving the light, towards the end of the puja, he chants this mantra among other mantras. The priest chants, Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamagnihi, tameva bhantam anibhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. This mantra comes, Upanishad, the priest chant that one. Some people also chant in their homes when they do puja. What does it mean? By God's power, all actions happen. Whole world functions because of God's power. People function because of God's power in them. Natatra Surya Bhati. God Sun cannot illumine God. God gives the sun power to illumine other beings. Chandra Tarakam. Moon cannot illumine God. Because of God's power, moon creates moonlight, converts sunlight into moonlight. Moon's power comes because of God, from God. Chandra Tarakam. Tara means star. Stars also shine. Stars are suns. Because of God's power. They cannot have their own power. They are not self-illuminating objects. They derive their power, everybody, including sun, we all, derive our power to do actions from God's presence in us. Nema vidyuto bhavanti. Vidyut means light, lightning. Lightning also creates light because of God's power. Kutoyam agni. From where Agni gets his power to burn? From God. Can God be held responsible for what happens in nature? No. Using God's power, people do good and bad actions and they enjoy and suffer. He provides the power in neutral, like sun provides the power. People do good and bad actions in sunlight, but can sun be responsible for what people do good and bad? No. He is simply there. He is not even making people do action. He does not make anybody do anything. He simply shines, that's all. His nature is to shine. God's power is like that. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Because God is full of effulgence, sarvam vibhati, everything, whole world shines in God's light. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Bha means effulgence. By his effulgence, God's effulgence, idam sarvam vibhati. Idam means this whole universe shines, functions because of God's power. So that's what the sloka number 14 says. Nakartratvam nakarmani lokasya srujati prabhu. God is not responsible for kartratva, agency of action. People say I am the doer. That's because of their ignorance. Nakarmani, the objects created by people for their enjoyment, that they create. God is not responsible for those things. Prabhu nasojati, God does not create. Na karma phala samyogam. The connection between actions and reaction is also happens at the body, mind, sense organ level because of nature. Law of nature. If you do something, result has to come. Good, good, bad, bad, then escape. The law Swamiji wrote. People perform action, they reap the fruits. Good action produces good result. Bad action produces bad result. That's all in people's minds. We can't hold God responsible for that one. We can't hold sun responsible for all the bad deeds people do in sunlight. He's simply there, shining. That's all. That's all he does. We are the ones, people in the minds, where all actions happen, reactions are felt. Now we go to sloka number 15. Some people say they get into some trouble. Suffering comes in human life is inevitable. Everybody's life is bound to have some suffering at some time or other. When suffering comes, they blame God. Oh, God gave me this much trouble. Why God is going to give trouble to us? He is simply there. So we did some bad, maybe long time ago, which you don't remember, maybe in the previous, but that's producing suffering now. Then I say, why I did not do anything bad? Why this suffering has come? Like this, they complain. Nothing comes good or bad except as we have done something to warrant it. Swamiji said, Swami Vivekananda said, no misery comes to any beings except as one has paved the way for it oneself. If I am having some problem now, I can't blame anybody else. I did something to warrant it, otherwise it would not have come. Without cause, the effect will not happen. Cause must be there. But I don't know the cause. In this life I did not do, but what about a previous life? I don't remember what I did in my previous life. Good, bad, everything. So we can't blame God or anybody for our problems. It's all our own creation. So same thing is continued in sloka number 15. Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanena vratam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Kasyachit papam na adatte nachaiva sukritam vibhu. Vibhu means Atman. Prabhu in the previous sloka, Atman. Vibhu in the sloka means Atman. Vibhu. So Atman, that is Brahman, impersonal God. No action, no reaction, nothing. Just remains there like the sun, not responsible for what happens in the world. Kasyachit papam nadatte, does not accept anybody's sin. Nachaiva sukritam, somebody's good deeds he does not accept. Somebody's bad deeds he does not. He is untouched, unaffected by it. What he has to do with our good and bad? Some people say, I'm offering this. Some people do good deed and they say, I'm offering to God. They give some charity, they say, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Now, when they offer something to God, he is not receiving that one. He does not need our actions. Why do we offer our actions to God? Because we become free from attachment to that object. Like giving some gift to somebody during Christmas time or on birthday, they already have everything. They are not, they don't want anything, but they still give some gift. It's a tradition to give gift in Christmas time. So when we give something, that person does not need it. We still give. Why? Because the expression of love. When we give something, we become free from attachment to that object given. Once I have given something, I should not even think about that object. It's left my hands, no more connection with it. I become free from attachment to the object. Until then, I was calling this my object. When I give to somebody, it does not remain mine anymore. It becomes his, and I have no connection with it. When I give somebody, we should immediately sever connection with that object. We should not keep on thinking, oh, I gave it to somebody, what does it do with it? The thought should not come. Once we give something, that moment we become totally free from that object, attachment to that object. We should not even think about it. We should not say, I gave you that shirt, did you like it? We should not say that one. Some people give some gift to somebody, then they will ask, did you like the gift I gave you? No, we should not ask. Once you gave, that's no longer your property. Not even ask what happened to it. They may use it or they may throw it, give it to somebody. Not our concern. So God is not receiving our good and bad. What does He need? Nadatte kasyachit papam. He does not receive our papa, result of bad deeds. Nor does He receive the result of good deeds. He is totally free from any of these things. Sunday does not receive anything, give anything. He is simply there. Ajna, then why people think I am doing something and offering to God? We offer everything to God. Why? Ajnanena vratam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Ajnana means ignorance of our true nature. Because of ignorance, we think we are the doer. I am doing this puja, I am offering it to God. That whole thing is because of ignorance. If you know we are the Atman, there is no doing, no karma phala. Because we don't know that we are Atman, we are the body and the mind, then we take action, agency, I am doing this and I am offering to God. This all happens in domain of ignorance. Ajnanena jnanam avratam. Knowledge is intrinsic within us, self-knowledge is intrinsic within us because we are that. It does not have to, it is not absent now, it does not have to come from outside. But that knowledge is covered by ignorance. Just like mirror is there, clean mirror, but it is covered by a thick layer of dust. It does not produce any reflection. You can't see your face in it. But that dirt is not permanent, not intrinsic. It can be removed. The same way our ignorance of our true nature is not intrinsic. Our true nature is intrinsic, but that is covered by ignorance. Ignorance in the form of I am the body, I am the mind, I want this, I want that, I am angry, I am happy, I am unhappy, all this is ignorance, referring to the body mind. That ignorance can be removed by spiritual practice. It's not permanent, ignorance is temporary. So for the time being, jnanam means self-knowledge. Ajnanena avratam is covered by ignorance. Tena, because of that ignorance, jantavaha muhyanti. Jantava means living beings, people especially. Muhyanti, they become deluded. Because of ignorance, they say, I am the doer, I am offering it to God, I did good, I did bad. All these things are in the minds of people only. God has nothing to do with this. He simply is there, provides the power, and using His power, you do all these things, good and bad. Like sun provides the power, He is not responsible for bad deeds people do using the sunlight. You can hold Him responsible. Sun made me do this. No, that won't work. So God is free from all these things. Action and agency for action, result of action, all happens in the minds of people only. So God remains above this entire domain. That is the sloka number 14, 15. Now in the verse number 16 is the same thing, that ignorance can be removed and self-knowledge shines. It's always there, but this concrete wall covering it is removed, becomes transparent, and it is always there. That realization comes. God does not come and sit down, He is not absent now, He is already there. Atman is already there all the time, He is never absent. But we are not aware of His presence. That lack of awareness can be removed, then suddenly realize, I was always Atman, I never was a body mind. I thought I was the body and the mind. God was always within me, I did not simply recognize His presence. He is there. That realization will come. That's why we call it realization. That is explained in verse number 16. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanaha tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham adityavat, like the sun. Jnanam prakashayati tatparam. The translation is, for them whose ignorance has been destroyed by knowledge. That very knowledge, like the sun, illumines the supreme reality. Supreme reality is always within us. We are that. It is never absent. It will never be absent. Only that ignorance of its existence can be removed. Then when the clouds are covering the sun, there is darkness on the earth. No sunlight. When the clouds are removed, sunlight again shine. Sun was not absent when the cloud was covering it. He was already there. He never is absent from the sky. Even during night he is present, only we cannot see. So like that, Atman is always present within us. We are that. That never changes. Only the ignorance, like the clouds, covers God's presence in us. Where does the ignorance lie? In our minds. It's our mind that thinks I am the body and the mind. I am good, I am bad, I am happy, I am unhappy. All these things are in the mind only. That's all due to ignorance. Once that ignorance is removed, like the cloud is removed, cloud moves away, then sun shines as it has always been shining. Only we were not receiving sunlight because of the patch of cloud. So the patch of ignorance can be removed by spiritual practice, by prayer, devotion, japa, any means, number of different means. Once that ignorance is removed, God's presence becomes experience. We experience, already there. Then we realize that we were always that one, never were anything else other than the self. That realization comes. That is here in sloka number 16. Yesham ajnanam jnanena nashitam. Yesham atmana ajnanam. Those people whose ignorance of the Atman becomes removed, is removed by jnana, self-knowledge. Have to leave now? Yeah, come again. Thank you. Tesham, of those people, adityavat, like the sun, prakashvati, illumines everything. Jnanam prakashvati, brings out knowledge. If the ignorance is removed, then knowledge comes out, knowledge becomes apparent, which is already there, that illumines everything, like sun illumines everything when the patch of cloud is removed. For them whose ignorance has been destroyed by knowledge, that very knowledge, self-knowledge, like the sun, illumines the supreme reality, the Atman present within us. Ignorance was covering that one. Like a patch of cloud covers the sun. Once the patch of cloud is removed, cloud moves away, when ignorance is removed by any kind of spiritual practice, grace of Guru, grace of God, then what happens? Self-knowledge becomes very clear. It illumines everything. It was illumining even now, but we are not aware of its presence. That ignorance goes away. So that is the whole purpose of all spiritual practice, not to gain knowledge of God. God is already there. But to remove the ignorance. All practices, spiritual practices, all yogas, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, everything, Bhakti Yoga, everything is only to remove the ignorance that is covering the presence of God. God is present all the time, never was absent, will never be absent. So spiritual practice is needed not to realize, not to bring God, but to remove the ignorance covering the presence of God. So if God is to be realized by effort, then that is not permanent. If God is absent now, and if He has to be realized by any kind of spiritual practice, effort, then that is not a permanent thing. Anything that is absent now and is gained by effort is temporary. Effort produces only a finite result. All effort is finite. All work we do is finite in duration, magnitude. It can only produce a finite result. Work cannot produce infinite result. God is infinity. So it cannot be the result of work. Then why work is required? Why spiritual practice is required? To remove ignorance. That's all. Is always there. So let us do verse number 17. Read it, and next time we will continue that one. Tadbuddhayastadaatmanastannishtastatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrtyam jnana nirdhota kalmashaha. Tadbuddhayaha tadatmanaha tannishtaha tatparayanaha gachanti apunaravrityam. Punaravrityam is coming back again to this world, rebirth. Apunaravrityam is not coming back to this world. Gachanti jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Those people whose ignorance is removed by jnana. Jnana nirdhuta. Nirdhuta means washed away. Kalmashaha, whose ignorance has been washed away by jnana. Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Those people, illumined people whose ignorance has been removed by knowledge, self-knowledge, due to spiritual ignorance removed by spiritual practice. They, what happens to them? Apunaravrityam gachanti. They do not come back again to this world of ignorance. They may be born again. As jnanis, they are born. They only are born to help the people, not to do anything for themselves. that those people are rare. Those who are realized, once they leave, they leave, no coming back. But rarely somebody comes back. The purpose of coming back is by the grace of God to help other people, not to work out their karma. Those are rare people. Apunaravruttim gachanti. They reach a state of non-return to the world of ignorance. Who? Jnana nirdhota kalmashaha. Those people whose ignorance of the self has been removed by knowledge of the self. So they tadbuddhayaha. They're always, their mind is on the self. Tat means self, Atman. They don't think about the world. What is happening? Am I happy, unhappy? Are people praising me or blaming me? Did I succeed or fail? Those thoughts are not there. Tadbuddha means always absorbed in the thought of the self. That means the self, Atman. Tadatmanaha. Perceiving it as their own self. They don't think they are the body. They think they are the Atman. Tadatmanaha. Tanishtaha. Devoted to Atman. Not devoted to the worldly accomplishments, gaining property, fame. These things don't interest them. They're only interested in Atman. Only remaining absorbed in the Atman. Tanishta tatparayanaha. Their supreme abode is the Atman. They remain in it, they remain absorbed in it. For such people, there is no return to the world of ignorance. So that is verse number 17. We will stop here. Very nice verse is coming, 18. Samadarshitva, one of the most important verses in the Gita. 5:18, we will do that next time. That deals with Samadarshitva, seeing everybody alike, seeing God in everyone, treating everyone with love and respect and compassion. Very important virtue. Samadarshitva, same-sightedness. In 5:18, we will do that next time. Let me say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases. May all realize what is noble and auspicious. May no one be subject to misery. Om, peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. May there be peace everywhere in nature. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all. Stay very well. And we shall see you next week. Thanks.